Hello everyone and welcome to today's session. My name is Mark Olesen and I am the Partner Channel Manager here in ClickLearn, and I will guide you through a short introduction of who is ClickLearn today. Then I will hand it over to my Customer Care Manager who will be presenting ClickLearn in the live demonstrations. And then we will end today's session in how to become either a ClickLearn partner or how you can become a ClickLearn customer. If we shortly touch base about who is ClickLearn. So ClickLearn is founded back in 2010 with the mission of creating training materials and delivering user adoptions across all your business applications. We are today located with a headquarter in Copenhagen, Denmark. We also have offices in Florida, United States, Ahmedabad, India, and Perth, Australia. When it comes to the customer side of ClickLearn, we have customers in more than 44 different countries today. If we look at the amount of users and consumers that ClickLearn have, we today have more than 8,100 authors creating learning instructions with ClickLearn every day. And we have more than 100,000 end users consuming ClickLearn materials from any device every day. If we shortly touch base on how to describe ClickLearn, there are 3 words I want to touch base on. ClickLearn can simply record, produce, and publish all your learning materials for you. If we deep dive into the record part of it, so ClickLearn is not a screen recorder. ClickLearn actually have the capability of understanding your business application, means that we only capture the recording when you interact with the system. So when there is a feature and a function and you want to execute on that, you simply just click through it and ClickLearn capture what you click through. That means you can now save 80% of your time in creating learning instructions because you no longer have to edit all your mistakes or the errors or what happens on the screen, because we only capture what you click through. So with one recording and one process, you can now start producing ClickLearn materials. When it comes to the produce part of ClickLearn, ClickLearn produce learning instructions in multiple formats. We actually deliver 7 different learning formats in a single source file. So we produce learning materials in Word, PowerPoints, PDF, HTML pages, and 3 different types of videos that you can either show or interact with live. We also have a live avatar. That means we have a help desk ticket embedded inside your system. So if you get lost in a process and cannot remember how to complete the process, you can always request help from our live avatar embedded into your business application, and he will make sure that you complete the process correctly. ClickLearn also translate all your instructions. So we deliver more than 45 different languages and translating all your videos as well into more than 45 different languages with video narrations, and we have more than 145 digital voices to pick between. And last, we have what we call replay. We all know that we get updated versions of our business applications every day. That means our learning instructions becomes outdated super fast. But ClickLearn have solved that problem for you, because with our replay function, you can now replay any of your learning instructions as soon as a new release are being published, and then your latest learning materials is updated on the latest version of the business applications that you use. So how is all this consumed and where is it published? So with ClickLearn, it's up to you. You can decide where you want to store your learning materials. But a part of the ClickLearn package is that ClickLearn hosts it for you. So ClickLearn includes the ClickLearn Content Cloud, where your learning instructions is now available 24/7 and you can consume it from any device. We also building in learning analytics, so we can actually measuring on how the learning materials is received, consumed, and we can also collect feedbacks and ratings about all your learning materials. That was short about how ClickLearn actually works, how we can record, produce, and publish content. I will now hand it over to our Customer Care Manager, who will be giving us a live presentation in how easily this is being made.
Hello, my name is Peter Højder-Løvskov and I am the Customer Success Manager here at ClickLearn. I am going to show you how ClickLearn works, and I'm actually going to start a big backwards. So we'll see a presentation of what could an outcome look like. And then we will go in and do a short recording on finance and operation. And then we'll see how we can edit this and then distribute this to your end users. To start out with, let's look at an example. So here we have a learning portal that I have created for Microsoft Teams. The fun story about this portal is some time ago I was giving a task saying if you have to do a learning portal for Microsoft Teams and you only have 1 day to do this within, how much can you actually create? And this is the outcome. A learning portal created with ClickLearn. So it is of course created on HTML, meaning that end users, they can view this from any device. It's created with a responsive design, so mobile, tablet, or computer, completely up to the end user's choice. It's completely searchable, so I can easily find what I would be looking for, either by typing a couple of letters or the entire word. If I'm just typing a couple of letters, ClickLearn will then instantly give me suggestions of what words could I be looking for from within the learning portal, and of course references to recordings that I have created that have to do with the words that I'm looking for. In this example here, the learning portal that I created was divided up in 8 categories. And within those categories, I of course have different work instructions created. And if we go into one of these work instructions, well, then you can see that it is structured pretty much like a standard work instruction. I have first an initial information, and then we see the steps that I need to go through and perform. And then of course, additional information is included here on what I can, in this case here, share of content in Teams. As you can see here, this here is a web page, but of course get links to different other formats. And this is because ClickLearn, we understand that you have different, as an end user, they have different learning styles, and that you need to support these different learning styles. So directly from the learning portal, you get access to the different formats. When we get into the presentation of the application, I will actually show you the different formats. Now here in the bottom, you can see that I have this little content that I can click on. And if we go back out to the front page of our learning portal, you will see that the content with bolded letters are the ones of the different groups that I have here. Underneath in non-bold, that is the different recordings that I've created. So in this case here, you can see that I actually created a full learning portal consisting of about 20 different work instructions grouped up into 8 categories. And not only that, actually also delivered in multiple languages, because I've actually replayed this into Danish and German. So if I click on this and I'm an end user that wants to see this, don't translate it, you will see that the exact same work instruction we were just looking at before is now in complete German. So we have the ability that you, from within the learning portal, can choose which language do you want to view your material in, of course up to the author of the content to have created the content in multiple languages, but also that you have, as an end user, the opportunity to go in and view the learning format of your style. Everything that you're viewing here is, of course, customizable. So it's just an example that is created within my company logo and my corporate identity with my coloring. But everything can be customized. Everything from logos here can be 2D, 3D, multiple colors, single colors, as I'm having here. However you choose to have this viewable, that's doable. So this is one example of a learning portal and how easy it is for your end users to engage with it. But how do we actually create it? Well, first of all, we need a business system. And in this case here, we'll do it on finance and operation. Secondly, we need ClickLearn Studio. So ClickLearn Studio is a click once application. There is no system requirements. There is, well, actually there's one. You need to run it from a Windows OS. That's it. Otherwise, there's no complex infrastructure. There's no server integrations. When we click on new here to go in and do a recording, ClickLearn will now give me a window with multiple icons. Now, each of these icons, they represent a business-specific connector. So we have connectors for the entire Dynamics 365, but we also a cross-platform application. So if you have a process that takes you from one of the applications within Dynamics and then to either a Office application, that goes for both on-prem and web versions, into any Power Platform application you have, because we support the entire Power Platform. We support Teams, and we even support customized web applications and Windows applications. So I would say about 95% chance of any process that you have internally, we are able to capture if they are outside of your Dynamics 365. But in this case here, I will do the presentation on finance and operation. So I will simply click on the icon finance and operation, and then I will get a list of languages. These are the ones that I set up for my installation. These are the ones that I have done demonstrations within for the last period. Of course, completely customizable, so you can set it up so you have the language available that you would need. We support all the languages of Microsoft UI. In this case here, I will do this one on English. And as I click on yes, ClickLearn will go into the background. It will take me to the live system, and it will turn on the recorder so I can now record a process of that I want to document. The only thing that I need to be aware of is the green rectangle that you see on the screen. That will indicate that ClickLearn understand here is a process that can be documented, and I can now go about recording the process. In the upper right corner of this rectangle, you can see that I have a little finance and operation icon stating that I'm using a finance and operation connector. But if I leave the business application of finance and operation and I go to the bottom part of my screen where I have the Windows application running, it will automatically switch over to the Windows icon. Even I see it up here, it will move it over to Windows icon. And as soon as I go back into the finance and operation system, it turns back to the finance and operation connector. So the connectors are what you could call smart connectors. They will automatically adapt to the application that is best suited. So that means as an author, all I need to be aware of is the green rectangle. As soon as that appears, I am comfortable that I can now go about creating my process and document it. In this case here, I will just record a couple of steps and then stop the recording. Anything that I interact with, that goes from any context menu, drop-down menu, or text that I add or delete from the application, that will of course also be recorded. That goes also for any customized integrations that you've added to the finance and operation. We're also capable of recording that. I will now call this edit a vendor demo and save this. Again, I can store this wherever I want to. Here I'm storing mine on my local drive, and I'm just going to go ahead and produce this material simply so we get a quick view of what is that ClickLearn actually creates. What happens from following a green rectangle. So as I hit produce, ClickLearn will now create 7 different learning formats. And again, this is to support the different learning styles of your end users. In a very short time, I will have 4 different types of written instructions and 3 different types of videos, where 2 of them are interactive. ClickLearn has now produced my material, and I'm ready to go up here and view to see the different formats. If I go to the web page, you can see that I get links to all the formats. So now I can instantly go in and see all formats. The first part here, I have the original recording that we call edit a vendor demo. I have my pre-created written instructions, and I have perfectly cropped screen captures with the marking of the area of interest. Everything like we just went through in the recording. ClickLearn even created a Word document where we have added additional header. In this header, we can capture some metadata, and this is because the Word document and the PDF document typically used for documentation, so we need some additional information in here. Mine is set up the initials of the authors and the title and my corporate identity, but of course all of this can be customized so it matches this, the needs that you have to embed into your documentation. We can customize everything. That goes from the font style to the sizing of the thumbnails. You will of course have your corporate identity shining through it all, so your end users will only see that you have created it and not that this has been created with ClickLearn. The PDF is a conversion of the Word, so they will of course look alike. If you're going to do classroom training or tutorial training, internal meetings, you're most likely going to be viewing it on a large screen. So the PowerPoint presentation we have altered just a little bit. In this case here, you can see that now instead of having small cropped thumbnails, we have the entire screen capture, still with the marking of the area of interest, your corporate identity, the title of the material we're looking at, and the written instructions here in the bottom part. So everything here is aligned so you can easily go about this process inside your in your classroom. So these are the 4 different types of written instructions: a web page, a PDF file, Word document, and a PowerPoint presentation. But we also have 3 videos created for you. The first one is a show me, and this is to support the end users that are very visual and auditive, that needs to have a narration of the process at the same time as they view it. So here you can see our show me video.
Click on the navigation button. Click on the navigation module link Accounts Payable. Click on the navigation item link All Vendors. Click on the link in grid cell, Vendor Account. Click on the field Vendor Account. Click on the field Organization Number. Click on the field DUNS number.
As you can see here, I already have a seamlessly flowing video. The cursor is moving through all the steps, and it's not recording the part where I went outside the application to show you the connectors. It only captured where I actually interacted with the application. It's also having these high quality digital voices to go in and narrate the instructional sentences. We have at the moment about 140 different voices covering 45 different languages, male and female voices, and major different access to the major languages. So there is a large variety to choose between when you go in and have this pre-narration created. But this gives you a seamlessly flowing video from the recording we did just before. At the end of the material, you also have this feedback option where you can go in and rate it, give an instant comment, and also shorten the distance between the end users and you as an author, because now they can respond to you directly. Where this is being captured, I will show you at the end of this demonstration. The second video we've got here is a try me video. So the try me video is running a little different than the previous one.
Click on the navigation button.
It will of course still have the narration. It will of course also give me the written instruction. So I'll turn off the sound from now on. One of the voice you just heard here is Sally, one of the American female voices. But you notice that it's no longer progressing to the next step, and instead it's giving me control of the cursor. So it's not moving seamlessly. And this gives you this interactive video, because now I need to go up here and perform the step that are being required of me. Now, if I click somewhere else, it will not progress to the next step until I go to the field that I need to go to. This here gives me a sandbox filter solution, because if I'm kinesthetic and I need to try and feel the process with my hands and go through it, I now get that feature here available for me. I get to see the process. I need to know I get to see what happens next after I click a certain field, but I'm no longer able to change or apply anything to the application itself. So this gives me a very good feel of learning it and not changing any valuable data that you have inside your application. And again, at the end, you have this feedback option. The last video we got, that is a test me video. It's going to run on the same simulation, so I'll turn off the sound from the beginning. It will narrate, it's going to give me the written instruction, but it's no longer showing me where it is. Now, of course, you can see that I have these small shadows up here. Now, we have a feature called a replay function. And with that, I can actually have those erased. And I'll show you that in just about in a short term. But now let's say that I don't know where the navigation button is. And I'm clicking somewhere around here because I need to figure out where is the navigation area. And it will, of course, show me this is the navigation button and this is how I need to move along. It will, of course, also give me a wrong score. And at the end, I get this test result where you can see that I needed help for the first part. This here is set up by default for an 80% passing grade and 5 attempts. And of course, if your corporate standards are differently, it's also customizable. It's also SCORM compliant. So if you're using a learning management system, you can easily reuse the material you created with ClickLearn. We can build a zip file accordingly to the SCORM format of your LMS, and then you can reuse it that way. So these are the several different formats and how we can support the different learning styles of your end users and give you that huge variety to choose between so that you can deliver the best suitable learning style for your end users. But knowing where to click and knowing how to follow a process is not always enough. We need to be able to add more value. To do that, we can go into the ClickLearn Studio and we can go into the editor. Now in here, I can easily set up additional information. This means that I can go in here and add some structure by adding a chapter. I can add a note stating what is the objective of this process here. So I'll go in here and say add a note, say and save that one. I can even add additional pictures in here. So if I want to add a picture of something that could be a workflow, work process, anything that have to do with the, in this case here, I can take my little friend here. I can add that in there. So I'm not limited only to get parts into my to my work instructions that I've captured with ClickLearn. I can always add more value. I can even add in hyperlink if I need to do that. I can also change some of the structure in here. So let's say that I don't want to be focusing on one specific account, but be able to choose any account. Then I simply just go in here and say, choose any row. ClickLearn will not only change the written instruction, but it'll also update my marking of my area of interest. And as I go to the try me or the test me videos, I will now continue to the next step by clicking on any of the available links. I can also group some of the steps together in here. So let's say that I don't want 3 different steps from the same page. I'll simply just mark them up, create a group, in this case here a numbered list, and ClickLearn will now create one thumbnail with all 3 steps numbered accordingly. And in the middle of this, I can of course always add a note saying, remember, something of interest or whatever, align that with a step. And now ClickLearn will say, remember something that I wanted to, click on the field organization number, change it. If I added text in here, it will say enter the text, enter, and so forth. So very easily you can go in and add more value to your processes. Now, if you need to add in different languages, well then ClickLearn can also take care of that for you. So if we in this case here stop the save the recording that we did, and we tell ClickLearn to go in and do a replay of the process. That could be, for instance, that we don't want we want to have this delivered in a different language. So here I have a German user interface, and by going back into ClickLearn, telling it to do a replay, ClickLearn will now tell me, first of all, remember that you're not allowed to interact with the account. So do not touch the mouse or the keyboard after selecting yes. I will do this on the German user interface, and you will see that as I click on OK, ClickLearn will go into the background. Of course, you cannot see me not touching the mouse or the keyboard, but notice the cursor. That will be jumping through the steps as we go through the process here. It will not go seamlessly as if I was moving the mouse around, controlling it. It goes in here, it finds the process that I need to find. It will go down to the account that we're looking at and jump through all the steps. Now re-recording all the steps that we just did before. And as soon as it's done with all of this, it will tell me the replay is now completed successfully. Thank you very much. I can say, let's take a look at it. First of all, you will see that I still have everything here in English as I was looking at before. But if I change this one over to German now, you will see that everything in here is now updated into German. All of the small ghosts that we saw before, they have been removed by the replay. And the same will do if I did the replay on an English user interface. I will have those removed. Now the parts that I put in manually, they have not been changed. So for those, I need to change them manually, or I can rely on the built-in Azure translation services. So here, I'll change this into German, have it translated, and now I can produce my material in German and English. And in this short amount of time, ClickLearn has now produced it into the 2 different languages. When I go up here on View, you will see that I now have the option between English and German. And if I go to German, you can see that everything has been translated into to German. Everything is aligned exactly like we did before in the English user interface. So this is how fast you can go in and create documentation in multiple languages. And even the videos.
Ziel. Verwenden Sie dieses Handbuch, einen Kreditor zu bearbeiten.
All of this has also been updated and localized and translated into German. So this is how easy it's done for you. Now, when you created this material, then you of course want to create the learning portal. So to create that one, you first of all want to group your recordings into the different categories as we saw before. To do that, we create what we call a book in here in ClickLearn. You simply just go up on New, you choose a book, you store that where you want to, and now you have a book like the one we're looking at down here, Field Service. And this is of course where I can take my recording and just drag and drop them over and rearrange them how I want to. When you create this one, then you of course have, as I have here, multiple set of books. Those I want to add into a learning portal. We call that a shelf. So again, go up here, create a shelf, and you get a shelf like the one we're looking at down here. If we look at one, for instance, for finance operation, it's just a basic book that I've added over. Now, this you can of course store anywhere that you want to and make it available for your end users that way. But we can also store that for you. So by hitting publish, it will be stored in our content cloud. That gives you some additional features because now, first of all, we can add in tracking so you can see how are your end users engaging with it. You can set up content federation so you can close down the learning portal for only your organization and even create a learning portal for your for one part of your organization that nobody else is allowed to, and lock that down so it's only viewable for those, let's say, 11 users. So you have those additional features, but not only that, you can actually also see how are they engaging with the material. So we give you a dashboard like here, where you first of all have a heat map of where in the world have they tracked it, where have they used it. You can choose between as many learning portals as you want to. So here I'm tracking 3 out of 40 something learning portals that I've created. You can see, well, how have people viewed this material? They've mostly viewed the web page, but also how many times did they download the PDF file? We can even deliver data all the way down to user level, so you can see, well, how did your end users do in the test me, or did you see the entire show me or stop after 10 seconds? We deliver the feedback option as I showed you here also, so now you can see, well, how did they rate it? What did they think it? Did they add in comments? Have you locked down the learning portal so they need to log into it with an email and a username? Well, then you will also have the name and email address of the one that are given the comments in here. Since the learning portal that I created was completely searchable, well, then you can also see what are they searching for, what are they looking for. Now you can be proactive and see, well, have I provided this information? If not, go in, record it, add it to your learning portal, hit publish, the URL will be updated, and instantly they will have access to it. Now, one thing that I have not shown you is that this here you can also create so it's available online. So that means that if I go back into my application here, we'll just turn this one back to English. Like here, now we have an English one. But since I've created this learning portal, I've added it up to my content cloud, I can also add it directly into my browser. And as a sign into that, I get a little assistant available over here on my right-hand side. So if I click on that, he will actually give me a complete learning portal of the finance operations that I have created. And when I go into one of these groupings here, you will see that I now have a work process on how to validate a customer's information. And again, everything is available for me directly within the application, inside the live system where they need this with the different learning formats. But I also have this little friend down here, an assistant. If I click on him, he will take me to the live system, and on top of the live system, guide me through the process of how to validate customer info. He will know exactly when to progress, so I don't need to tell him to move on to the next page. I simply just go where he tells me to do. And as you know where you are in your process, you can of course turn him off at any point in time, either by following the entire process to the end, and he will give you a sign saying, congratulations, you've succeeded, or by simply just clicking on the little friend up here, and now he will close down and you can continue. So this is how easy you actually go in and create documentation with ClickLearn how you can have that created in multiple languages, make it available in several formats so your end users have to get the learning style of their choice, and then also embed it directly within the application itself.
So thank you to customer care for that wonderful presentation. I now want to touch base a bit about the benefits that we just saw. So what are the benefits that ClickLearn actually delivers? So if we look into it, there are 3 benefits I want to touch base on here today: IT and support, employees, and management. So with ClickLearn, we have customers examples where they have reduced everything from 30 up to 80% in help desk ticket service, because they now can deliver multiple formats for their employees in the local language. They can simply reduce workload in help desk ticket services. When it comes to employees, it's always hard for employees to adapt into new systems. But with ClickLearn and with our live avatar, we now make sure that people can master the software immediately. And if they cannot remember it, we still make sure that they complete the process correctly because of our live assistance. And then when it comes to management, it's always a risk when you implement larger business applications, ERP projects, CRM, and so forward. But with ClickLearn, we simply reduce that risk because we make sure that there is learning materials available in the local languages and live assistance and replay functions to keep it consistent as well. ClickLearn deliver high process accuracy and reduce now the risk of implementing new ERP projects or CE projects. I promised I will touch base about our pricing. So ClickLearn is a subscription model. There are 4 parameters we need to touch base on. To configure price, we will need to know which platforms are you actually using. How many authors will you have, so how many will be creating learning instructions, and how many consumers will actually be consuming the materials that you will be producing with ClickLearn. And then we have 4 different editions to pick between, and this is all depending on features and functions that you have as a requirement. When we know those 4 parameters, we can actually configure a fixed monthly subscription price that covers your need. Let's try to do that live actually, because I actually have a price calculator available on our website. So if you go to clicklearn.com, going into products, click on purchasing and licensing, you will end up on our page here where our prices are available 24/7 for everyone. As I mentioned, there are 4 parameters. So today I want to touch base a little bit about the platforms that we support in the Microsoft segments. We support finance and operations and all versions of AX. We also support Business Central and NAV. We support customer engagements and CRM. We also have the Microsoft platforms, so Microsoft 365, where it's a combination of the full Microsoft Office 365, SharePoint, Teams. Then we support the Power Platform, meaning that we can create learning instructions in Power BI and deliver it with Power Apps as well. And we also have custom applications, so any Windows or web-based applications. As an example here in the browser, ClickLearn is capable of capturing your processes. As personally, I am using customer engagement a lot, and we also have some Power Platforms embedded into it, and I like to have the Outlook or the Office suite included in my price. I will now take an example of 3 people that will need to create learning instructions, and I have 250 employees that will be consuming my learning materials. Then we now have the price for each edition. If we shortly touch base on each edition, what Basic, Essentials, and Professional and Enterprise means. Basic is the package for customers that only requires pure documentation produced in Word, PowerPoints, PDF. Essentials is when you need to have a combination of documentations and videos. Professional is when we touch base on the languages. So if you need to have your learning materials translated into 45 different languages and you want to have a live embedded avatar, then you will need your professional edition. Enterprise is when we need to be SCORM compliant, having integrations into LMS systems, and delivering automated process testing. You now can start from a price around 400 euros if you have 250 users, up to 1127 euro. If we convert that into US dollars, you will start around $500 up to $1,288. Each features and functions are fully described here at the bottom, so feel free to go to our website and see what all are included in each edition in the features and functions that you may require. So, what else is included with ClickLearn? We support free lifetime customer account support as long as you stay on your subscription model. So ClickLearn is not a consultancy business. ClickLearn delivers free training, free support, free educations, self-paced training portals, etc. And it's all a part of your subscription fee. We are not a consultancy business, and we will not invoice for any training or educations on using ClickLearn. And I promised also I wanted shortly just to touch base about the partner model. So the partner model is very simple. What you just see, you are capable of reselling. If you are a partner, then feel free to reach out to us and I'll be happy to have a talk with you about that. You can experience ClickLearn through our website. We have on-demand, but also live webinars every week. You can request a free trial license and you can download our product sheets from our website. Otherwise, you can engage with me. I'll be happy to have a talk with you in how to become a ClickLearn partner, how you can become a ClickLearn corporate customer. I will give you access to our subscription price model that you just saw on our website. We can deliver platform sheets, partner agreements, etc. Feel free to visit our website at clicklearn.com or reach out to me at mao@clicklearn.com. I want to thank you everyone for participating today. Have a wonderful evening or wonderful morning. Thank you very much. Bye.